Hello and welcome. Tonight, Supreme Court reserves judgment in the appeal filed by Senator Aishatu Dahiru Binani challenging the election of Ahmadu Fintiri as Adamawa State Governor. Presidential candidate of Labour Party in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, pays condolence visit to Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State over the explosion that rocked Bodija area in Oyo State 2 weeks ago. And Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara appoints Edison Ahie as Chief of Staff, just as the State House of Assembly accuses him of engaging in illegal activities as appointed over appointments of heads of 3 parastatals.
And on business news tonight, Central Bank of Nigeria clears more forex liabilities backlog as it releases $500 million to various sectors of the economy.
On sports news tonight, Cape Verde fairy tale run at the 2023 African Cup of Nations continues as the Blue Sharks advance to the quarterfinal for the first time, edging Mauritania 1-0.
From Abuja, a coalition of civil society groups in Abuja scores Tinubu's government administration low on the handling of the country's security challenges.
And in international news from London, Iran has denied that it was involved in the drone attack which killed 3 US troops and injured 34 on a US base in Jordan near the Syrian border.
We begin from the courts. The Supreme Court has reserved judgment in the appeal filed by Senator Aishatu Dahiru Binani challenging the election of Governor Ahmadu Fintiri as Adamawa State Governor. The 5-man panel of the Apex Court, led by Justice John Okoro, adjourned after the lawyers in the suit gave their submissions.
The courtroom is quite bubbly as parties and lawyers in the suit wait for the commencement of the hearing of the governorship appeal of Senator Aishatu Dahiru, popularly called Binani. This is the only appeal slated for hearing today at the Supreme Court. When the hearing resumed, counsel to Binani, Akin Olujimi, told the court that the Adamawa State Tribunal was wrong to have dismissed the petition and affirmed Fintiri as governor of the state. While citing Section 149 of the Electoral Act, the senior lawyer urged the Apex Court to dismiss the decision of the tribunal, contending that the declaration by the resident Electoral Commissioner Hudu Ari was lawful. In his submission, counsel to Fintiri, Damien Dodo, told the court that the tribunal dissected the issues and had put to rest the fact that Section 149 covers only legal actions of an INEC officer and not the illegal actions of which Mr. Ari was guilty of. Mr. Dodo further stated that Hudu Ari had no business declaring the result, and there's no evidence of that announcement before the court. The council noted that the actions of the REC who announced Binani as winner of the March 8 elections was illegal, and as such urged the court to dismiss the appeal for lacking in merit. The Court of Appeal had on December 18 last year dismissed Binani's appeal on grounds that the appeal lacked necessary documents essential for it to be heard, and she failed to prove substantial non-compliance as alleged in the petition. The appellate court awarded the sum of 500,000 naira against Binani in favor of Fintiri and the PDP.
Meanwhile, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, is seeking the support of the Chief of Air Staff for effective distribution of sensitive election materials ahead of Saturday's by and rerun elections in 26 states. The INEC chairman notes that the commission will specifically need the support of the Nigerian Air Force to deliver materials to 3 locations in the northeast, the southeast, and the southwest geopolitical zones.
This weekend, the Commission will conduct by-elections and rerun elections in 26 states of the Federation. In 9 states, 2 senators, 4 members of the House of Representatives, and 3 members of state houses of assembly will be elected in by-elections to replace members who passed on or resigned their memberships of the national and state assemblies. In other states, rerun elections will take place at designated constituencies or polling units as ordered by the election petition appeal tribunals. In handling such a huge national assignment, the Commission cannot do it alone. That is why we seek to mobilize every national asset, including the Nigerian Air Force. It is a realization of this objective that the law empowers the Commission to seek the support of security, intelligence, and law enforcement agencies in the delivery of materials and the protection of election officials. We seek the support of the Nigerian Air Force to expeditiously deliver materials to 3 locations in the northeast, southeast, and the southwest geopolitical zones of the country.
Former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, has joined other eminent Nigerians to commiserate with the government and the people of Oyo State over the explosion in Bodija 2 weeks ago, where lives and property were lost. Mr. Obi commended the timely and effective response of the government over the disaster. Governor Makinde, on his part, applauded Mr. Obi for putting aside politics to empathize with the state over the unfortunate incident.
Former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, arrives at Oyo State Governor's office with his team. They are here to commiserate with the government and people of Oyo State over the unfortunate disaster which took place on January the 16th at Ade Avenue, Bodija area of Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Mr. Obi joins the call for a thorough investigation into the incident.
The system, like I've told him privately, he might not bring back the lost lives or replace the properties that we lost. But that response gives assurances and confidence to people that there's a government and a system that cares for them.
Reacting to the visit, Governor Seyi Makinde thanks the Labour Party presidential candidate for the visit, despite the fact that they are not members of the same political family. He charges political leaders to recognize the fine line between politics, governance, and humanity.
I thank you because politics didn't seep into this. You came here to commiserate with us over the explosion. The president has reached out to me. You have reached out to me. But my own party candidates, not even a call or a text message. I mean, I'm saying it openly so that our leaders will know that you have time for politics, you have time for governance, and you have time for humanity.
Mr. Obi also uses the event to repeat the call for an urgent reduction in the cost of governance in Nigeria.
Elections are over. Governance is the key thing. And what is required is, for me in particular, is that we need to cut the cost of governance, especially at the federal level. It is unacceptable the way we're going. We need to prioritize areas, critical areas, education, health, and pulling people out of poverty.
Meanwhile, the Oyo State government has completely taken over the disaster site, hoisting both the national and state flags at half-mast to depict the losses that took place at Ground Zero.
And from the southwest, we move to the southeastern region, where Governor Alex Otti of Abia State has visited the scene of the fire incident that razed some shops in Ahia Uhuru New Market and Ngwa Road in Aba on Saturday night. The governor, who was accompanied by some top government officials and market leaders, told the traders that those affected will be relocated to a better place pending the time the government will reconstruct the market.
We engage the market leadership. All these buildings need to go down from A to Z. So we can relocate them to a temporary place and rebuild here, and then they come back. Okay? And it's going to be in such a way because modern markets shouldn't be like that. Yeah. They need help. Like a fire truck can't get in here. So we should have that in mind.
Over now to Rivers State, where the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has sworn a former lawmaker, Edison Ahir, as the chief of staff and 5 others as special advisors. Governor Fubara, who is in charge after the oath-taking ceremony at the Executive Council chambers of the state government house in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, cautioned the appointees against using their positions to antagonize anyone in their localities. The swearing-in ceremony was attended by cabinet members, including those that were reappointed just last week.
Don't use this position to antagonize anybody, even in your localities. I want to appeal to you. I will continue to say it. What God cannot do does not exist. That you succeed in battle is not because of your power. It's the grace of God. And when God says it will not happen again, wherever you are, it ceases from that moment. I'm not appointing you today because I want you to go to your area and start fighting. No. We have surrendered our situation to God. And God is going to solve it in a way that will shock the world. For everybody to know that God is always God. Please, I repeat, please, I don't want this position to be a platform for you to start attacking anyone. Do what you know that is right. Support the government in the way that will promote the image of our government. That is your duty. And that is what I want from every one of you. The commissioners that were sworn in last week, for those ones that are here, you can assign, part of our peace accord is that we return to status quo. So let them assign them back to their respective offices. Let me also say this. Coming back and taking back your position is not for you to use it to destroy my government.
Meanwhile, the Rivers State House of Assembly has accused the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, of not following due process in the appointments of heads of the 3 government parastatals in the state. The lawmakers made their positions known during an emergency plenary session at the House of Assembly quarters in Port Harcourt, the state capital.
The Rivers State House of Assembly members arriving for an emergency plenary after their last sitting when they overruled the governor and enacted 4 laws. As they settle down, this time around, the House is tackling Governor Fubara over his recent appointments, just as the majority leader draws the attention of the Speaker to these appointments.
His Excellency Siminalayi Fubara, GSS RS, Governor of Rivers State, has approved the following appointments. Mr. Goodluck Ben as acting chairman of Local Government Service Commission. Engineer Dr. Mrs. Inebrix as acting Director General, Review on Public Procurement.
The Speaker explains that there is a proper mode of appointment as provided for in the law, adding that there is no provision for an acting chairman.
The position of the chairman of the Rivers State Local Government Service Commission is clearly provided for by this law and by this section, meaning that the only thing available for the governor to do is to submit his nominees to us for screening and confirmation.
During the session, some of the lawmakers also raised questions about the legal existence of the new Cities Development Authority.
So if the governor at this point wants to set up such an institution, I think what he needs to do is to bring it as a bill to this House, to look into it and see and get the approval of the House.
In a tyrannical manner.
The State Assembly Speaker also accuses the governor of tyranny, even as they resolve to write a letter to Governor Fubara warning him against continuing with his actions.
All that the governor needs to do if he wants to create that authority, is to send in an executive bill to us. Distinguished colleagues, what we need to do at this point in time is to write to the governor. I think what we need to do is to write to the governor and draw his attention to these anomalies.
The new developments in the House of Assembly have continued to fuel speculation about whether the House will resume with the now dropped impeachment proceedings against the government. Charles, Upper Room, Channels Television News.
And the Assembly has now written to the Governor, Fubara, asking him to withdraw his appointments of heads of 3 government parastatals. In part 2, after the break, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, drags former Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Olakunle Oluomo, and 2 others before a federal high court in Abeokuta over alleged misappropriation of public funds. Please stay with us. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Supreme Court reserves judgment in the appeal filed by Senator Aishatu Dahiru Binani, challenging the election of Ahmadu Fintiri as Adamawa State Governor. Presidential candidate of Labour Party in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, pays condolence visit to Governor Seyi Makinde over the explosion that rocked Bodija in Ibeto, the state capital, 2 weeks ago. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara appoints Edison Ehie as Chief of Staff, just as the State House of Assembly accuses him of engaging in illegal appointments of heads of 3 parastatals. And U.S. President Joe Biden vows the United States will respond after a drone attack on a base in Jordan killed 3 American soldiers. The former Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Olakunle Oluomo, and 2 other principal officers of the Assembly, Dayo Samuel and Adeyemo Adedeji, have been docked before a federal high court in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Mr. Oluomo and the officers of the House were brought before the court by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, over alleged misappropriation of public funds to the tune of 2.5 billion naira, and 3 men allegedly committed this financial fraud while Mr. Oluomo was Speaker of the State Assembly in 2022. Just last week, 18 out of 26 House members impeached Mr. Oluomo as the Speaker of the House over alleged high-handedness, gross misconduct, and poor leadership style, among other offences. The trial of the chairman of Ibeto Energy Development Company, Chief Cletus Ibeto, over an alleged 4.8 billion naira fraud was today stalled at the Lagos High Court sitting in Ikeja owing to the return of the case file by the trial judge, Justice Ismail Ejelu, to the Chief Judge of the court, Justice Kazim Aloba. Justice Ejelu told lawyers that the case could not proceed until the Chief Judge decided on the various petitions written by the defense challenging the jurisdiction of the court to hear the case and accusing him of bias. Last year, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, had charged the defendants before the court alongside his companies, Ibeto Energy Development Company and Odo Holdings Limited, on 10 counts charge bordering on allegations of conspiracy, fraud, forgery and fraudulent use of documents. At the resumed hearing of the matter today, Justice Ejelu said that this case cannot go on today because the case file had been returned to the Chief Judge due to many petitions flying around. I advised parties to liaise with the administrative judge to know the next step to take in this case. The judge then adjourned the case indefinitely to await the decision of the various petitions written by the defendants. We head over to our Abuja studios now, where Maokwe Ogun Yusuf is standing by to give us more on the news at 10. Hello, Maokwe. It's good to see you.
Hello, Anne. It's definitely wonderful to see you as well. Welcome to the FCT. Well, a coalition of civil society groups right here in Abuja has expressed dissatisfaction with the handling of the country's security by the current administration. The group maintains that President Tinubu's government has failed to live up to its primary responsibility of protecting the lives and properties of citizens.
Representatives of 48 civil society organizations are attending this news conference in Abuja on the state of security in the country. Insecurity has been a major concern across the country, and this group says the situation is getting worse under the current administration.
Our tracking shows that at least 2,423 people have been killed in mass atrocities-related incidents, and at least 1,872 persons were abducted since the beginning of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration.
We call on the government to fulfill its primary duty of protecting lives as mandated by Section 14, subsection 2B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to guarantee its continued legitimacy.
According to the group, over 2,423 people have been killed across the country, and at least 1,872 people kidnapped in 230 incidents in the 8 months of President Tinubu's administration. The coalition wants the government to declare a state of emergency on security.
Because what we are saying with the state of emergency is very clear. We are saying that this is an urgent situation. Recognize that it is urgent. Allocate a timeline within which you will resolve this problem, or at least roll back insecurity. The conspiracy of the security agents and the financial institutions, we need to dismantle it. The money goes to the banks. The criminals go and collect it. And then you go there and say, can we find the person, the owner of this account? They will tell you it will take 30 days.
The president needs to, as a matter of urgency, to address the nation and say, this and this are the things we want to do. And in the next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, we expect the situation to change.
Terrorism, banditry and kidnapping have been identified as criminal activities causing widespread havoc in many communities across Nigeria. Citizens at different fora are urging the government to take more decisive steps to put an end to these menaces.
Well, staying with security, in Borno State, northeast of the country, 11 farmers have been killed in Fergie community, Polka ward of Gwoza local government area after stepping on an improvised explosive device. An open-body vehicle conveying the farmers to their farmlands stepped on an IED and immediately exploded, killing the farmers and 2 others on their bicycles. According to a source in the humanitarian sector, the IED was planted on the shoulder of the main road leading to the farm, causing the death of the passengers, while the driver sustained serious injuries, leaving him in a critical condition. The time of the explosion has not been confirmed, but the source says the incident happened in the early hours of today. The IED is suspected to have been planted by Boko Haram terrorists who have renewed attacks on commuters within communities in Borno State. Back here in the FCT, the police command of the Federal Capital Territory have rescued 5 persons abducted from 2 different gangs in Abuja. The FCT Police Public Relations Officer, Mrs. Josephine Ade, made the announcement during a press conference at the command headquarters. Mrs. Ade explains that the 5 victims were rescued by a combined team of the FCT Special Intervention Squad and the FCT Police Anti-Kidnapping Unit.
The command received a distress call by the Ido Divisional Police Headquarters that a sound of gunshots were heard around Sabondube as police patrol teams were drifted to the scene, where one Blessing Eze was met with a bullet wound on her shoulder inside a Toyota Corolla car with registration number RSH724KC, black in color. The said Blessing explained that she and her husband, one Joshua Eze, were returning back home when some hoodlums in an unidentified vehicle double-crossed them, fired gunshots at their vehicle, and abducted her husband to unknown destination. In response, the IGP Special Intervention Squad, the police anti-kidnapping units of the FCT Police Command, along with the divisional police officer from Ido Police Divisional Headquarters, combed those areas, searched all the bushes, and fortunately enough, the victim was rescued in Kuje Forest on the 28th of January 2024 at about 6:20 p.m.
And in another breakthrough in security, the People's Democratic Party chairman in Lagos State, Philip Ivoji, has been freed after spending 4 days with his kidnappers. According to the police spokesperson in the Ogun State Command, Omolola Odutola, Mr. Ivoji was released in the early hours of today, although she could not give details surrounding his freedom or whether or not ransom was paid. The Lagos PDP chairman was abducted alongside some other party officials by gunmen around Ogiri on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway on Thursday last week while returning from the party's stakeholder zonal caucus meeting in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. In an attempt to free the captives on Friday, one of the victims, 37-year-old Bilkisu Kazim, died in the course of a gun battle with the gunmen. Still ahead on the news at 10, Central Bank of Nigeria clears more forex liabilities backlog as it releases $500 million to various sectors. That's some business news. Do join us again.
It's time for First Bank's Win Big promo. 170 million naira up for grabs. Open or reactivate your First Bank account. Deposit and maintain a minimum of 5,000 naira for just 30 days, and the soft life begins. Transact up to 5 times on our digital channels, and guess what? You could be a lucky 100,000 naira winner each month. But wait, there's more. Deposit and maintain 50,000 naira each month for 4 months, or deposit 200,000 naira for 4 months, and you could stand a chance to win a whooping 1 million naira in the grand finale.
Don't miss your chance to win big with First Bank. This promo runs till February 23rd, 2024 and is open to new and existing account holders. Terms and conditions apply. Keep transacting. Keep winning. You first. First Bank.
The world stop spinning. I'ma keep winning till the world stop spinning. I'ma keep winning till the world stop spinning. I'ma keep winning till the keep up on me. Come on, let's go. I'ma keep winning till the world stop spinning. Independent women, come on, now let's get it. I'ma keep winning till the world stop spinning. Africa, you feel me? Come on, now let's get it.
New styles from Darling. Find your beautiful.
The new Peak Mini fits your pocket. Contains the right nourishment you need for your breakfast. Creamy and tasty.
This Pick Mini is just my perfect size, filled with the right nutrients, just for me.
This Pick Mini, they sweet my belly. Who fit believe say me say fit do shakara with better enjoyment?
Enjoyment. Now this kind of breakfast I want the top now.
Introducing the Peak Mini Pack. Breakfast for you. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Our story blooms over 2 decades ago. In a humble university dorm room, where the weight of the dark put a strain on our hands. A stain on the sheet where we mapped out our plans. But innovation lit our eyes with a fire. To blaze the trail, to change Africa. One solution, one transaction at a time. Our ears listened to the chimes, the buzzing tune of bright ideas. We stretched out our hands, and remember what we did? We flipped the switch. We flipped the switch, it was no ordinary motion. It was to herald a new notion. It is a champion's charge, your invitation to stand on our shoulders. It is your time for elevation. So go ahead, flip that switch, build that business, scale that hitch. Africa's future is waiting on us, and what looks like the sky is only the dew. We are on the brink of something new, because at InterSwitch, we never stop. So you don't stop.
We don't like to eat better, more nutritious meals, more veggies, but we want it tasty and easy too. No cubes. That's the secret. Made with real ingredients like chicken, parsley, garlic, and enriched with iron, so your meals are better for you and more delicious too. That's the cocoa. Let's give it some accolades. Change your world by changing what's on your plate. The Nigerian economy wrestles with several challenges, including unemployment, leaving many on a continuous struggle. Hero Lager sees worth in the apprenticeship system and is set to shine a spotlight on it for people to see the real worth within. Introducing the Hero Apprenticeship System. Together, we can tackle unemployment one apprentice at a time. Hero Lager Beer, the beer for heroes.
Let's head to the southern part of the country where the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, has suspended work on the LMS section of the East-West Road. The minister announced this during the unscheduled inspection tour of the federal government road projects in Rivers State.
The Minister of Works, Mr. Dave Umahi, is in Rivers State for an inspection of federal government road projects in the state.
We fill with sharp sand and we fill to stone base.
His first port of call is the Abia State section of the Port Harcourt-Aba Expressway, being handled by the China Civil Engineering Construction Company. He briefs the press on the government's expectations.
Today, we have agreed with the contractor on how to redesign this route for effectiveness and for both in cost and stability. And what we've directed is that don't destroy the existing asphalt. They are fairly stable with felt, pavement. However, in all our bids now and review, we are going to bring in a clause, and that is every contractor on our projects, we also put an alternative to bitumen, alternative to asphalt work. We know that asphalt is on increase on weekly basis. So I believe strongly that in the next 1 month, everybody will have an alternative of concrete, because we can't continue to increase the prices of our road jobs and the money is not there to pay. So we have to devise thinking outside the box, the directive of Mr. President, on how we can forge ahead on even a better rigid pavement, which will last 50 years.
From there, the minister and his team moved to the Eleme axis of the East-West Road, where Mr. Umahi, who is visibly angry, engages with the RCC contractors.
We paid 33 billion on this job since September. Nothing reasonable has been done on the job. And then we are here under our nose. This thing, I was here 2 weeks and I did the same thing, and they continue to feed this thing with, useless laterite. If it's even laterite, it's a different ballgame. But this is clear.
He then takes a decision suspending work on the project, as well as the federal controller of works over the materials being used on the road.
We are not stupid. We are not stupid people. Yeah.
Be pressing it.
So this is the sand. From the volume of what you take in, this is what you have. From today, you're out of the site, including you, 2 of you. You are not qualified to be on the site, and the job should stop.
Meanwhile, the senator representing Rivers Southeast, Barinada Mpigi, expresses happiness at the minister's visit and laments the attitude of people to government projects.
I think what you have just done here is a demonstration to sound money to order your supervisors monitoring your job in other areas at all. By the time we come in, I think we handle it better than this way we are going about, because we can't continue in this manner.
The minister appears determined to ensure the federal government's road projects in the state are delivered to specifications. Charles, Upper Room, Channels Television News.
Kelloggs, one of the world's leading cereal companies, has again offered educational scholarship to yet another set of young stars who emerged winners in its annual flagship project, Kelloggs Superstars Essay Competition. The company says the scheme instituted in 2019 is aimed at sharpening the writing skills of these young children within the age brackets of 12 and 5 in order to provoke their creative thinking.
These children, accompanied by their parents and guardians, are the few who made it to the final, emerging winners in the Kelloggs Superstars Essay Competition for the year 2024. 350,000 entries were received from across Nigeria for this year's edition, with the topic, The Power of Breakfast, with 150 winners being awarded 150,000 naira each. And Kelloggs Nigeria says beyond providing quality breakfast, it takes the education of children in the country seriously.
We started with 100,000 for 100 winners, and we've grown it today in the 5th edition to 150,000 for 150 winners. And you can see we've even included schools to be part of it. So we are carrying everybody along to make sure, as we are preaching healthy breakfast, we want the kids to also have the right education and support their educational background.
The world-renowned cereal brand, Montego, declared the portal open for entries from all parts of Nigeria. Representative of Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board signposts the importance of public-private partnership in bridging educational gaps.
This will encourage the children that are not in the school. It will encourage them, encourage the parents, and definitely encourage the pupils themselves. And in Lagos State, recent now we've started the program, and we'll be going to through the PPPP. So we're discussing with some people, and they will be doing a lot of things to encourage our children to stay in school.
For these children who have emerged winners, it's a big thank you to Kelloggs Nigeria for giving them the opportunity to express their intellectual capabilities through this essay competition.
I'm so very happy. The day that Kelloggs came to our school, my desire was to win it, and finally I'm here and I've won it. It fills me with joy.
Kellogg's, thank you. God will lift them up in Jesus' name.
With the successful hosting of the 2024 edition of its essay competition, Kelloggs Nigeria has once again demonstrated that it's keeping its promise of contributing to the development of education in Nigeria.
Let's delve into the world of business now. Here's Will Ebong with more.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Anne, and welcome to Business News. Now, in a bid to address the backlog of verified foreign exchange transactions, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says it has released $500 million to various sectors. This comes barely a week after the bank paid about $2 billion to settle outstanding commitments across manufacturing, aviation, and petroleum sectors. The CBN's acting director of corporate communications, Mrs. Akama Sidi Ali, who made this known in a statement, stresses that the Apex Bank is committed to settling all legitimate FX backlogs within a short time frame. She adds that the CBN has begun implementing a comprehensive strategy to improve liquidity in the Nigerian foreign exchange markets in the short, medium, and long term. And the federal government has said it is set to digitize all public services to harness the benefits of the digital economy and ensure adequate protection of the citizens' data. The Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, made this known during a press conference to mark the Global Data Privacy Day. He explained that President Bola Tinubu has given the ministry the mandate to transform public services with technology, adding that companies that produce digital gadgets have a role in ensuring that the data collected from Nigerians are not compromised. Now we head to the stock market, where it continued the rally from last week with fantastic gains. Laddie Williams tells us more.
All right, let's take a look at how your money performed today on the first trading day of the last few days of January. And no surprises here, it's another over 2% rise. 2.22%, 104,000, new high for the all-share index, just like we're used to at this point. Market cap, 57.28 trillion naira. Let's look at the sectoral performance. We're seeing now industrial goods still riding on bullish territory, 6.65% jump there. We'll see again the cement giants are at it at this point. Big 9.93% jump on Dangote Cement's share price. Boss Cement also added about 2%. We see Berger Paints PLC wasn't left out Bumping up this counter 6.65%. Banking counter still profit taking there, 1.05% down. Oil and gas also profit taking 0.12%. Let's look at the swoots now. We'll see. Again, as I said before, the cement giants, 2.98% for BOA, Dangote Cement, 9.93%. We see the the tier 1 banks again, some sell pressure there, and MTN stays unchanged, Airtel Africa unchanged. Well, if you look at the market breadth today, it's 25 advances led by Owando PLC and 39 decline, as well as January winds down. The oil share index should have gained about or above 40% by the 31st of January. I guess we can call it a January to remember. That's the stock market report. The bulls have it.
And that's it on Business News. It's back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Will. Let's go to the court now, where Justice Inyang Ekwo of the Federal High Court Abuja has adjourned a suit by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, against the federal government on February the 8th, 2024. In the suit, Mr. Kanu accused the federal government of kidnapping him from Kenya and bringing him to Nigeria for trial. He also wants an order for his release from the Department of State's custody. But Mr. Kanu asked the court to order the federal government to pay him 50 billion naira as damages. In a preliminary objection filed by the federal government and the AGF, they described the suit as an abuse of the court process, asking the court to dismiss its process. The defendants held that Mr. Kanu had filed an earlier suit with similar facts before the Federal High Court in Umuahia. The trial judge then directed to find out if a similar matter was not before a sister court or if the judgment had been delivered in a similar suit. The judge ordered that the hearing notice be issued and served on the defendants who were absent at the proceedings. Coming next on the news at 10, U.S. President Joe Biden vows the U.S. will respond after a drone attack on the base in Jordan killed 3 American soldiers. Back, U.S. President Joe Biden has promised to respond to the killing of American service members killed and injured in Jordan. This marks the first time American troops have been killed by enemy fire since the Israel-Gaza war started. Here's Simon Puse with more on this and other international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Iran has denied that it was involved in the drone attack which killed 3 US troops and injured 34 on a US base in Jordan near the Syrian border. American troops were still in their sleeping quarters when the drone struck with little to no warning. The drone arrived at the same time that a US drone was returning, and as a result, elements of the air defense system were turned off. US President Joe Biden said the attack had been carried out by Iranian-backed militant groups operating in Syria and Iraq.
We lost 3 brave souls in an attack on one of our bases, and we shall respond.
More countries have halted funding to the largest UN agency operating in Gaza as the crisis deepens over the alleged role of some staff in the 7th of October Hamas attacks on Israel. Japan and Austria said they were suspending payments to the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA. The US, UK, Germany and Italy are also among those who have suspended funding. UNRWA says it is extremely desperate and that the humanitarian needs in Gaza are growing by the hour. The agency has sacked several of its staff over allegations they were involved on the 7th of October attacks when Hamas gunmen infiltrated Israel, killing around 1,300 people.
We were extremely shocked that a certain number of countries have decided to suspend its aid or their aid for the UNRWA. The countries that have announced this suspension, their aid amounts to 70% of the annual budget of the United Nations Relief and Work Agency. This measure is extremely dangerous, and it is our hope that it will be reversed.
The debt-laden Chinese property giant Evergrande has been ordered to liquidate by a court in Hong Kong. Judge Linda Chan said enough is enough after the troubled developer repeatedly failed to come up with a plan to restructure its debts. The firm has been the poster child of China's real estate crisis, with more than $300 billion of debt. When Evergrande defaulted 2 years ago, it sent shockwaves through global financial markets. Evergrande's executive director described the decision as regrettable, but said the company would continue to operate in mainland China. Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso have announced they are leaving the Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS. The junta-led countries had already been suspended from the bloc, which has been urging them to return to democratic rule. The three governments said it was a sovereign decision to withdraw from ECOWAS. In a joint statement that was read out on state broadcasters in the three countries, they said ECOWAS had drifted from the ideals of its founding fathers and the spirit of Pan-Africanism. More than 100 firefighters are battling to control a forest fire in Chubut province in southern Argentina. The blaze broke out at the Los Alaceres National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in northern Patagonia, which is home to huge alerce trees. Chubut Governor Ignacio Torres blamed arsonists for the fire, which has burned more than 1,000 hectares. Animal rights activists have protested against the return of bullfighting to Mexico City after almost 2 years. A judge had ordered the indefinite suspension of the practice, which dates back to the 16th century in Mexico, agreeing with animal rights activists who had filed a suit. The Supreme Court revoked the decision last month, but a legal battle between supporters and opponents is likely. Local media reported that the judges ruled only on technical aspects and have yet to decide on the case's merits. And Japan's moon lander has resumed operations after being shut down for a week due to a power supply issue. The Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency said it re-established contact with the lander, indicating that the glitch had been fixed. The agency said its solar cells are working again after a shift in lighting conditions allowed it to catch sunlight. With the smart lander for investigating moon spacecraft, Japan became only the 5th country to achieve a soft touchdown on the moon. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Cape Verde have won an African Cup of Nations knockout tie for the first time in their history earlier this evening, as a late Ryan Mendes penalty gave them a 1-0 victory over Mauritania in the last 16. The match at the Felix Ofe-Boigny Stadium in Abidjan was drifting towards extra time when Cape Verde won a spot kick and Captain Mendes converted with just 2 minutes of the 90 remaining to break Mauritania's resistance. The tiny Atlantic Ocean island nation got out of their group in 2 of their 3 previous appearances at the AFCON, but never before won a knockout tie. South Africa's coach Hugo Broos says he is not afraid as his squad prepared to face Morocco in their African Cup of Nations round of 16 match on Tuesday night. Both teams have met 9 times, with Morocco winning 3 and South Africa also winning the same amount of times. The nations have played to a draw 3 times as well.
I think it's an important game for both teams. We are in now in the tournament that or you win or you lose. So that means that the importance is for both teams, and we are aware of the difficult task that's waiting for us tomorrow in the game against Morocco. Morocco is number 1 in Africa, did a fantastic World Cup, was 4th. And is full of high-class players, so it will be very difficult. At the other side, this AFCON is full of surprises.
Mikel Arteta has slammed reports he was ready to quit Arsenal to become Barcelona manager as fake news. Report in Spain on Sunday claimed Arteta had told colleagues he was going to leave the Emirates Stadium to return to Barcelona at the end of the season. But the 41-year-old insists he's keen to stay put as he aims to lead Arsenal to their first Premier League title since 2004. That's it on sports. It's back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Supreme Court today reserved judgment in the appeal filed by Senator Aishatu Dahiru Binani challenging the election of Governor Ahmadu Fintiri as Adamawa State Governor. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Wawadu. Good night.